around for 5 years now, and can you share with us what has been some of the challenges you faced in putting this up?
Well, initially, it's setting up the platform in creating an enabling environment for PPPs and even setting up the office and getting the right people to make sure that we're able to perform our mandate.
And when you look at where you are today and the projects that have been implemented, do people understand what PPP is all about in the Philippines?
Yes, actually, they have a very superficial understanding of what a PPP is about. They think that PPP is only a financing or a funding solution, when in fact it's more than that. It's getting innovation from the private sector in terms of technology, in terms of financing, and also harnessing the efficiency of the private sector in maintaining and operating and in constructing an infrastructure facility.
We've seen obviously the participation of a lot of local groups to the PPP projects. Are you likely to see more interest, let's say, from foreign investors, for example?
Oh, well, yes. As a matter of fact, we have been receiving a lot of interest from foreign firms, investors. But of course, we have to encourage they won't come in without a local partner. And we have to encourage more Filipino companies to participate in infrastructure development via PPPs.
Looking at the region as a whole, the PPP is a sort of an example of how things can be undertaken. We've seen China announcing the development of the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. ADB and all of those other agencies are looking at pushing infrastructure projects around the region. What are some of the lessons that might be useful for other countries looking to set up a similar structure as PPP?
Well, first, of course, they need to have a very stable and clear legal and policy framework for PPPs, for private sector participation. I think having a central coordinating agency in charge of monitoring the projects, the monitoring the tender process, ensuring that doing the policy advocacy and ensuring that there are clear rules in terms of processes, the tender. That's very critical, I think, in having a successful PPP program.
Are you now having discussions with other agencies around the region, perhaps, in terms of helping them?
Well, as a matter of fact, yes. We've had several discussions with the Indonesian government, Bangladesh, Cambodia, and even Thailand, yes.
The Philippines is obviously holding an election next year,
Yes.
and when you think about the PPP Centre, is it going to be affected at all by what's going to happen next in the Philippines?
Well, there are some apprehensions on the impending change in government, but you know the infrastructure requirements of the Philippines will not go away, so it will still be there, and we do need the private sector to help us in accelerating infrastructure development, and that's via PPPs. I do hope that the next government realizes that, because the Filipino people will surely benefit a lot from this program.
We've completed the first 5 years. What's the next 5 year looking like in terms of priorities and projects for you?
Again, more on hard economic infrastructure such as airports, more connectivity projects that would improve connectivity. The Philippines being an archipelago, and we do need a lot of social infrastructure projects that I'd like to note that even in affluent countries such as Australia and Canada, they still use PPP to make sure that the social infrastructures get built and maintained and operated by the private sector.
And when you look at the next 5 years, how much financing requirement is likely?
Based on the 2010 ADB estimates, we would need at least about another 30 to 40 billion US dollars of infrastructures that can be done via PPP.